Now, you call this a Melton cloth, a Melton wool.
Correct.
What is a Melton wool, Prof?
It is very heavy grade wool. I mean, this is about 850 grams, and you can feel it. The upside is that it just really drapes magnificently. This is by far my favorite coat.
Okay.
Just because when you wear it, and I believe obviously the difference is
It's Monday and Prof is back. He is here to challenge what you know about coats, jackets, and everything in between. Listen in and discover what you never noticed before.
You know, a bespoke coat is one of those items that you just know right away it's bespoke. With a suit, you could sort of have a ready-to-wear suit sort of altered, but with a bespoke suit, it's just from miles away.
Really?
Oh, yes, yes.
And why is that?
Because it's striking. You know, sort of during my early days, it used to be said that if you could only afford one bespoke item, right, let it be an
Amazing. Extraordinary. And welcome to the AskOkey podcast here on a Monday in stately AskOkey Mansion, coming to you from Studio One. And we hope you're all doing very well. Charge your glasses, sit back in your favorite chair, light your cigar or whatever it is you do when you're watching these podcasts. And we've got an episode this evening about coats. And you can see next to you, or next to me rather, our model Jimmy is wearing an overcoat. And we thought we'd do this because although winter's not with us right now, it will be soon, and you might be thinking about coats and what sort of coats you're going to need. Prof, good evening.
good
Welcome.
evening, Pete. Okay.
And how are you?
I am very well.
All well? Good.
Thank you.
Glad to hear it.
Yes.
And Prof is dazzling us today in his blue Glen check linen 3-button single-breasted. Prof, well done. I haven't seen that one for quite a while.
Yes, they do tend to come in and out of rotation.
Yeah, it's brighter than I remember it.
There's another one. Which is sort of a slate blue, very similar to this.
Right,
It's
yes.
sort of a similar Glen check, or you might call it Prince of Wales, but it's sort of a slate blue, lighter than this.
Lighter than
so
that
you
one,
may
yeah.
indeed be confusing this.
I think
for-
I
for
am,
that.
yes.
Yes.
But that's got a nice bright
Yeah.
touch to
This
it,
is a
hasn't
bit
it?
of a sweeter blue. This is,
Yes, yes.
you know, a summer blue. So we're
Yeah.
kind of burning down the last days of summer here. So I
Yes,
thought
we are, yes.
I might get some use out of the summer linens.
Well, we're fortunate in that we have 2 seasons, namely warm and warmer. So you can still actually wear summer suits in the winter here, but
Correct.
of course, we try to observe the seasons
Correct.
here at AskOkey. Now, I thought we'd start with this coat. This is the AskOkey Guards coat, I think you call it.
Well, it
Do
is
you?
technically a dress coat.
A dress coat.
It is a
yes.
dress coat, but the fabric itself is done in a very heavy Melton wool that is typically reserved for guards coats, just because
Right.
they're very heavy, and
Yeah.
obviously their guards coats are very long, and they're designed to serve a specific purpose, which is to provide maximum warmth.
And what do you call this, if we start on the outside, what do you call this color? It's a sort of olive green.
It's sort of an olive. It's just such a beautiful,
Olive brown?
beautiful color.
It is, isn't it?
It's
Yes.
sort of like an olive brown, not
Yes.
quite a green.
Yes.
It's got sort of green flecks in there, but it looks brown from afar. It really is just a remarkable cloth, and the drape on it is just absolutely magnificent.
Now, you call this a Melton
Wool.
cloth, a Melton wool.
Correct.
What is a Melton wool, Prof?
It is very heavy grade wool. I mean, this is about 850 grams, about 840 grams.
Wow.
You know, most dress coats or overcoats are going to be in the sort of 650 gram range, 625, 650
about
grams.
20 ounces.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
Thereabouts. So most would fall in that range, 625, 650, 675.
Sure.
But this is quite heavy.
Yes.
This particular fabric is about 850, and you can feel it.
You can. It's like a blanket, isn't it?
It's really like a blanket, but the upside is that it just really drapes magnificently.
Yes.
It's just the drape on it. It's just incredible.
Because some of those really thick cloths don't drape. They're just too stiff.
Well, it's not a question of it. There's sometimes like because this is really the cloth is very, very dense. So, and the beauty of an overcoat is that you can actually really shape it. You really have plenty of room, runway as it were, to really mold the garment.
Right.
And this is by far my favorite coat.
Okay.
Just because when I wear it, and unfortunately it's a bit too warm to wear it here in the studio, but when I wear it, it just looks like a work of art.
Yeah.
You know, you can see all the lines.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can see, and just sort of the long skirt. It's just such a beautiful, and I believe obviously the difference is the fabric, because some of the other fabrics were made in a similar cut, but they are lighter. Those are about 650 grams. And you can see the difference when you put it on. The shape on this is just absolutely remarkable. So if you're in a climate where your weather you can tolerate that weight, right? You know, this was just, I mean, I recommended it to one of our customers actually, Simone. I said, you have to have this coat. And Simona, if you're watching this is the coat I was referring to. You know, he's in the market for an overcoat with AskOkey. So
right, okay.
we're talking about, you know, right away, the first suggestion I said, you have to try this. He's in Italy, so it doesn't get as cold as it might in, let's say, in the UK or in England. But still, it's just a magnificent cloth.
Well, let's just take a quick look at this, because it's got some features, Prof, that I think we want to...
You want to bring it forward a little bit?
Let's bring it forward a little bit. There we are.
Bring Jimmy forward a little bit.
There we go, Jimmy. Okay. Because it's got there are some features to it which I think people might want to, or be interested to know about. Let's get this button out here. There we are. Okay.
There we go.
So an overcoat is not a long jacket. I think we have to establish that to start with. So you don't take the AskOkey double-breasted suit and just tack a few extra feet onto the skirt.
No, the design has to be completely original.
So when you talk about the design, it's like the jacket, it's double-breasted, but there the resemblance ends. So your buttons here are lower, I guess, than they would be on the jacket.
The button placements, and the thing you see with a lot of these modern short dress coats is that basically the top half of the coat looks like a double-breasted jacket, and you know, with sort of a short tail.
Yeah.
And the reason is because, again, we talked about this in the prior segment. There's certain proportions that need to be adhered to when making a garment. And when a coat is too short, be it a dress coat or a jacket, it forces everything up. So it forces the button stance up, it forces the natural waist up, and so on and so forth. Now, the difference between a coat, a dress coat, and a jacket is that whereas a jacket buttons at the natural waist, a dress coat buttons somewhat lower.
Right, okay. Like this one.
So exactly. So if you look at the
because
buttoning,
the natural waist is actually here.
Somewhere there, right? So this button somewhere a little bit lower, say right around your hip.
So it'd be about there.
Right there.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. It buttons right around your hip, and that allows you to sort of to space out the buttons and to nail the proportions and still allow the coat to have a proper long skirt.
Yeah, so if you had this button up here like you do on a jacket, right, then you'd have an enormous empty area, wouldn't you?
Well, unless, of course, the coat is short.
Unless it's short.
But if it's proper length, it's going to be plenty of, basically, just acres of space here, which you don't want.
But your pockets are aligned to the button, so your pockets would be down around here.
Correct, correct. Again, we do
this. So a good couple of inches below where they are on the jacket.
Correct. For symmetry, I like to sort of line up the button, the pockets with the middle button.
But it's otherwise sort of constructed similar to how you construct the jackets, isn't it? Because it's got the felt collar.
It's fully canvas.
Yeah, it's fully canvas. So it's not just a big thing that you throw on. It's actually
not just a blanket.
It's not a blanket. No, it's made.
Actually, it's a structured garment.
The way a jacket would be made, and you can see it's got a canvas. You can feel the canvas and the pad stitching in there.
Hand padded lapels, everything.
Yeah, and hand stitched collar there.
The collar is hand stitched.
this folds over, and of course you can turn the collar up if you're feeling really cold. This turns over, and you get this very nice roll, which similar to the roll you get on a jacket there, double-breasted. And then you get this really nice long line on the coat lapel. And it gets you all the way down, as you said, Prof, down to about here. So you really look you look a lot taller when you're wearing it, put it that way. At the same time, it's, what did you say last week? You said mid-calf.
About mid-calf.
Yeah, mid-calf.
So I prefer
So
the
it's
length.
right
The length
there.
I prefer to be somewhere about mid-calf, right? Maybe an inch lower than mid-calf is tolerable. Again, we talked about sort of the old guards coats. They were very long, and some of them were actually ankle length.
But ankle length, there's a point, Prof, at which it's just too long. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So about like an extra inch or so, and you probably could get away with it. But more than that, and you look at it, and it's just a little bit too long.
Well, also it depends on the height of the wearer.
Indeed, yes.
You know,
yes,
if you're very tall, you can carry off like pretty much even an ankle length coat. It looks very rakish on taller people. Yeah.
So you got the internal part of it all canvassed, very, very solid inside. You've got a lined breast pocket here, just like you'd have on a coat. You
A
put
welt pocket.
a welt pocket. A welt pocket, okay. And the usual pockets here. And then this is a 6-button. I guess you could do it. Could you do this with a 4? Without these 2 up here?
Well, for symmetry, it just looks, because if you do it with a 4, it just looks too empty here.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So just for visual symmetry, 6 buttons look generally better on overcoats.
So it's what you think of as it's a fitted coat in that sense. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to a floppier one, like
it's
for
a
example,
structured coat.
It's a structured
It's a
coat.
dress coat. It's a
dress
structured coat.
And it's even got a lapel hole there, a button there. And then if we turn it round, we notice, just before we do that, the slightly backward shoulder seam.
Well, that's sort of posture dependent.
That's posture dependent, okay.
It's posture dependent, so it depends on how forward your shoulders are, and these are sort of all the little things that go into a bespoke garment. And so depending on how forward or sort of how backward your shoulders are is going to determine sort of the angle of this, of the seam, of the shoulder seam.
And then what we have is the same sort of roping that you've got right there, or that I've got actually. The same sort of, maybe a little bit more pronounced in the roping. And of course the sleeve has to hang just the way it does on a jacket. So even though you're wearing a suit coat or a sports coat or whatever underneath it, it's still constructed and designed and patterned just the way it would be.
It should be full enough to drape properly. And
yeah,
again,
that's
in a
right.
perpendicular, again, we talk about, here we have a slight extension to the shoulder. You can see that's where Jimmy's shoulder ends.
Yeah.
This is my coat, of course, but it's cut with a slight extension in the shoulder because it's worn over a coat. Yeah. And the idea is very similar to the drape in the jacket, which is sort of you give it an extension in the shoulder to create a little bit more room in the chest. To create that beautiful shape in the chest.
And then,
Pete, do you mind if I sit down?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My knees are kind of starting to buckle.
Proff's been.
I've been in the gym. I've been in the gym too often.
Overdoing it. And then we have here the belted back. It's not a pleated back, although you could have a box pleat. Actually, would look very, very dashing indeed. And you have this nice belt here. And then you've got this open skirt. Now,
it's a vent.
The vent. Now, this is really interesting because it starts quite high.
Yes.
And goes all the way down. So you can really move around in this.
Gives you a lot more mobility.
Oh, a great deal of mobility. But this is the sort of coat that you wear when you're marching back from Moscow, having failed to capture it. Napoleon's guards striding through the snow in something like this. It weighs... I was going to say it weighs 20 pounds. I don't think it does. But it weighs a good 10 or 12 pounds.
Well, I'm not sure exactly, but it calculate 850 ounces. 850 grams per square meter.
Yeah.
Again, let's look at the back again, Pete. So again, this is not a pleated back. It's not a box pleat or a pleated back.
No.
The idea is sort of you could actually loosen this. So
Right.
the way we've designed this, you could actually loosen it if you want to wear it a little bit more.
Right, okay.
If you want to sort of feel a
Yes,
little
and
bit
then
more
you could
relaxed.
button it here, couldn't you?
Exactly. So
Yes,
if you
yes.
want it a little bit loose, but if you want it more shaped, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you just
yeah,
kind of, rather than
these up.
button it
Yes,
here,
indeed.
you
Yes.
can do up the buttons here,
Yes.
and it automatically gives more shape to the garment in the front.
Yeah. And it's got this quite pronounced seam here, which runs all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, in a way, the back is almost more impressive than the front.
It is beautiful.
It is, isn't it?
very-
And
especially when worn, on the actual figure.
sure. And then you can see here the back drape.
Correct.
We put as much attention into the drape of the coat as we would into a normal suit coat. And I think that's something, because so often the overcoat, you think, well, I'll put something on here because it's cold. But what we're actually saying is make your overcoat a sort of statement on itself. Now, just, Prof, if we can very quickly back to the fabric. It's not a solid color. It's got little red and brown and green flecks in it.
Almost like a Donegal.
Yeah. Now, would you call this a tweed cloth?
This is, I mean, it's not. It's
a Melton. I know.
It's a Melton wool.
It's a Melton wool.
Tweed is, I guess you could call it a tweed.
Because it's got slightly rough
it's got sort of
texture
that
to
rough
it.
finish.
Yes.
You could call it a tweed, but this is, usually when you talk about tweeds, you talk about sort of, your Cheviots or your estate tweeds or your Shetlands. Usually in the, sort of 370 gram to, let's say, 625 gram range. Yeah, your heaviest tweeds, sort of your gamekeeper tweeds and your Cheviots are going to be, up there like 600, 625. But, once you start getting beyond that, then it's no longer a tweed, it's a coating. Right. So, but technically, like you said, just the feel of the cloth, right? It feels very tweedish.
Oh, it does. Yeah. And where does this cloth come from?
That's from Fox.
This is Fox.
Yes,
okay.
This is from Fox, one of our suppliers.
Yes. Well, there's a type of cloth called West of England cloth, and I think it may be similar to this, but it's certainly a magnificent piece. And you probably need what, 4 yards or something to do this?
For an overcoat, for me, I prefer to have at least 5 meters.
5 meters.
Right?
Wow.
Anywhere from 4.5 to 5 meters. There are those who could, tell you that they can cut a coat in 3.5 meters, but then they're going to give you one of those short skirts.
Yeah, one of those shorties.
One of those short things. But I think for a full length overcoat for an average size man, so when you say average size, let's say 5'9", 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", average height, I would reckon you need at least 4 meters. To be comfortable, I'd say 4.5 meters.
And especially you've got a lot of extra cloth here, and then you've got a lot of extra here in the skirting. So this, when you wear it, the skirting will sort of flare out a little bit. You'll get that nice nip in the waist or a little bit below the waist that we like. And the thing is to wear something like this when you know you're going to be walking around in full view of everybody, so you can show it off, because you don't want to leave it rolled up in the back of the car or something like that at your waist.
Correct.
And very sharp pointed lapels, Prof. A little bit more of a point than what we have on our jackets, I think.
Well, I mean, it depends on
upwards a little bit more.
The angle is going to vary, because every one of these pieces we designed from scratch.
Right. Okay.
Right. So it's not, the angle of the gorge, the shape of the lapel is going to be it's going to be different. From garment to garment or from SKU to SKU. So, I mean, usually we visualize these things, we test them over and over again with the test of fit cloth to find sort of the right angle, the size and all of that stuff.
And the gorge height is pretty much where we normally place it, isn't it?
Well, it has to be lower than the jacket.
Lower than a jacket gorge.
Of course. So the collar has to be longer than your jacket and sort of the gorge slightly lower. Again, because the entire stance is lower.
Right,
Remember,
okay, yes.
we talked about the
yes.
waist of the jacket being slightly lower,
Right.
right about your hip.
Right.
So you have to move the entire structure slightly down, which means the collar is longer and the gorge slightly lower.
Yeah. Because if the gorge were higher, it would really look odd. Again, you'd have too much space there.
And I'm sure you've seen some of those Italian coats. Sorry again, you know,
Italian
where
coats,
you have the gorge sitting so high and the the peaks
points,
of the points of the lapel literally standing over the shoulders.
Going over your shoulders,
which just looks really unseemly.
It does, it does. So let's put this one back on the rack. Yeah,
it's quite heavy, isn't it?
I would say about 15 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilos, but I would say about 15 pounds, and awfully heavy.
Okay.
Now, this isn't quite as heavy. This is a lighter.
This is a balmacaan.
Yeah, let's just get it up here on the mannequin.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is the balmacaan, a completely different purpose, design, style, and this is a herringbone. It's a sort of brown and cream.
It's that's a houndstooth.
Sorry, houndstooth. Beg your pardon. Yeah. With a little bit of red in it.
It's a large houndstooth.
A large houndstooth. Yes. It's like a very bold sports jacket pattern, and then it has a belt there. Yes, which you can tie up.
So the other one, you sort of tie the belt in the back. This is a more casual coat. So
it is.
You sort of just tie it.
Yeah. So this is a sort of complete opposite of the guard's coat that we just looked at, the dress coat that we just looked at. This is called the balmacaan, and it's made of, probably about the same.
No. This is a lighter. This is a much lighter. It just feels spongier. Right. Because the fabric is more of, it's more of this, I guess it's not a Shetland, but it's more porous. It's more openly woven.
It's a wool. It's not
they're all wool. But
no, what I mean is it's regular wool.
It's wool, but it's the way it's woven, it's a bit more porous. You can see it's a bit spongier. It almost feels like a Shetland. It feels like a Shetland tweed.
Yes.
That's why it feels substantial, but it's significantly lighter than the other. This is going to be somewhere in the 650 gram range.
So it's like a heavy jacket tweed material.
Exactly, like 625, 650. Yes.
Now, it's a little bit like the collar and the lapel is a little bit like the safari jacket, isn't it? Well, it points down, a casual looking collar, points down there, and a small lapel here.
Well, I mean, I remember we showed this on social media a few days ago. With me modeling it, of course, and there were some people were having a fit or were about to have a fit about, it's not, it doesn't look like a traditional balmacaan. It doesn't have it doesn't have a strap at the collar and so on and so forth. And, with all due respect, when we design, right, what is art? Art is about license. It doesn't have to look like the original balmacaan worn by Lord Angsby in 1602.
Yes.
We look to get sort of the basic function or sort of the basic aesthetic of the garment. This is a balmacaan. Right. How do you define a balmacaan? Primarily because of the raglan shoulder.
Yes.
Right? So there is no structure here. Yeah. There are no shoulder parts. There are no shoulder parts. There is a canvas. Okay.
Right, okay.
There is a light canvas, but there is no shoulder part because it's a raglan sleeve.
Yes.
And that is how you define a balmacaan. It's a casual coat that is supposed to be thrown over just sort of very casually and simply.
Yes.
Now, what you do with the collar and the lapel and all of that stuff is really up to you. I mean, it's up to artistic, your creative license.
Yes.
So, when people hop on this bandwagon, it doesn't look like the I'm like, fine. This is, we wanted to create something striking and unique, and this is what we created. So there you have it.
There you have it. So, loud check, which is appropriate again for...
You don't mind if I sit back down?
Go ahead. Appropriate for the race course, the loud check. Softer construction. The Italians would like that, the soft construction. No shoulder expression, and you have, as Prof said, the raglan sleeve, and of course, a little bit of trivia, Lord Raglan, the chap in charge of the Battle of Balaclava, so 2 clothing items that come out of that Crimean War, and Raglan had only 1 arm, and they say that he had this sort of sleeve design because he couldn't wear the regular sleeve. Anyway, cuffs got a strap here so you can pull them in or loosen them up a bit. It has a belt which traditionally is not buckled but tied.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a fellow wearing a coat like this and he's got a buckle on the belt, don't say anything, but now you know, okay? And it wouldn't be polite to say anything. And then, of course, at the back, it's just there. Yes. So it's really is casual. It's got a
it's
vent
got a
there.
vent.
Yeah, but it's a nice piece of kit, and you can wear it to the race course. You can wear it round and about, you know, town when you're doing your shopping or something. Mm-hmm. But it's not built to impress.
It's not a dress coat you wear. So sort of, you know, this is something you would wear with a casual tweed suit on the weekend.
Right. That's right.
You know, that's a proper dress coat you wear with a dress suit.
With a
proper suit to the city, into the city.
Yes.
This is something you would wear on a weekend in the country, you know, with a casual tweed coat or a sport jacket, a casual tweed jacket.
And unlike the dress coat, it's comparatively shapeless, which is part of its purpose. And you'll notice the pocket is here.
Well, the whole point of the belt is to sort of, well, assuming you do have a waist.
Yes, yes.
You know, the whole point of the belt is to sort of to show the waist.
To give it a little bit of shape
at the waist, exactly.
And of course, if you have very powerful shoulders, then you will get naturally shoulder expression. Pause for station identification and for you to refill your beverages. Back in a moment. Are you the best dressed man in the room wherever you go? If not, why not? It's not that difficult. AskOkey makes bespoke suits, jackets, trousers, and other garments for discerning men all over the world. So next time you look around and feel that you're not quite presentable, give us a call, send us a mail, or send us a direct message on the social media channels, and we'll kit you up to look like a king. Bye for now. Welcome back, and don't forget, before we begin, like and subscribe if you don't mind. As I always say, if you don't like it, forward it to your friends to annoy them as much as it annoys you. And some of the comments we get, you have to, one chap wrote, he said, I watched this for 3 minutes and then I thought, I'll go and do something useful. I thought, well, why did you even bother watching for 3 minutes? You must by now know what it's going to be about. So don't even start watching. But if you do like it, please click the like and the subscribe. And most welcome to make a comment or two. Prof, this is another dress coat.
Correct.
But it looks very different from the guard's coat that we just saw a moment ago, this one here. Mm-hmm. Is that because of the color or because of the texture?
Well, I mean, it is the color and it's the fabric. It's basically the same design. Same design, but obviously it's going to show it slightly differently because of based on the color and basically based on the fabric you choose. This is a medium gray, I suppose what some might call a Cambridge gray.
Cambridge gray.
Which is sort of more dressy than the taupe.
Yes, it is in a way,
The color, the word I was looking for was taupe.
Taupe, that's taupe,
that's taupe, that color.
Okay.
It's sort of, it's not quite brown, it's called like a taupe, a sort of a medium light taupe.
Okay.
So that's more of a casual color, but this is a proper dress color. So if you're a city-going office worker and you wear your blues and grays, that will be the color. Mm-hmm. For me, the most versatile color to start with, if you were to own one overcoat, I think that goes with everything dress-wise. It should be a medium gray.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, now
You know,
why is that?
navy coats are it just doesn't show the beauty. Navy hides, you know, navy hides the
Yes,
shape
yes,
of the
yes,
garment.
yes,
It
yes,
doesn't
yes.
photograph well. It doesn't
Yeah,
show
yeah, yeah,
well. It doesn't show the lines of the
yeah,
coat.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it just really kind of sucks the life
Mm-hmm.
out of the coat. So I think gray, especially medium gray, is a perfect color
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
want to have a bespoke coat made.
Yes.
You know, a bespoke coat is one of those items that you just know right away it's bespoke.
Yeah, yeah.
There is no way to get, because you think about it, an off the rack coat is, you know, one size fits all, right?
Right.
They just basically cut the cloth down, straight down, straight down. It's just a sack, right? When you've had a bespoke coat made for you, everybody knows.
Yeah.
With a suit, you could sort of like, you could sort of have a ready-to-wear suit sort of altered, and you know,
Right.
if you're a standard size or standard
yeah.
shape, you might be able to say, oh, it's custom made. But with a bespoke suit, it's just from miles away.
Really?
Oh, yes, yes.
And why is that?
Because it's striking.
Right, okay.
It is striking. A bespoke suit coat is striking from a distance. It just,
Right,
you
yes,
just can't
yes,
miss it.
Yes.
You know, because think about all that cloth to get that shape, and to get the shape in the chest, to get the shape in the waist and everything. You can't find that. You will never find that on a ready-to-wear coat.
It's
You know,
very lightly
so in
padded,
fact,
mind you.
it used to be said, Pete. I don't remember where I heard this, but it must have been in, you know, sort of during my early days. It used to be said that if there's one item that if you could only afford one bespoke item, right, let it be an overcoat.
Amazing. Extraordinary.
Because, you know, you could wear a ready-to-wear suit underneath it, right? And no one would be the wiser.
Right,
but when
right,
you
right.
have an overcoat, a bespoke overcoat, it is so striking that it's impossible to miss.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. So everybody, I hope you took note of that. Most of us wouldn't think that. It's sort of counterintuitive. Now, this fabric is interesting because the fabric is what you would call barleycorn. And this used to be very, very common for jackets and tweed suits. And it's a beautiful weave. It's not quite perfectly symmetrical. In other words, the little corns, or whatever you call them, are all of a slightly different size. I remember seeing this. Is this Fox?
No, this is from Harrison.
I was going to say, yeah.
This is from our partners at Harrison.
I remember seeing it on the Harrison website and looking for barleycorn for jacketing, but they only had this color, I think, for the coating. And it really is fantastic, because if it were just plain gray, like a flannel, it wouldn't
look as interesting.
No, it wouldn't. No. And you want a little bit of texture, if that's the word, a little bit of variation.
Interest. Surface interest.
In the surface interest. Surface interest. And like the other one, everybody, I'll just get up here. It's canvassed inside. It's not as stiff as that one, but I think that's because of the material.
Correct.
This is just a lighter material. I still a fair weight. What did you say this was? Probably
That's
600?
got to be about 650 grams.
650.
I reckon. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So when you consider that the Fear Not suits are about 500.
Yes, about 475 grams, 500.
Right, okay.
Correct.
So this is a couple of notches up from there. You've got the welt pocket, the patches, and you've got the same belted back. But this coat automatically looks, well, it looks smarter, but because it's made of this sort of tweedy barleycorn, you could wear it in daytime or evening. Wouldn't make any difference. Yeah, you can undo these, and you can loosen it up.
You have sort of
got a good 2
more
inches
relaxed.
there, so you get 4 inches of room there, and this fantastic double-breasted design, so it just comes down there and looks absolutely marvelous. I think you're right, Prof. Now this is you can wear this to the office, daytime, nighttime, and you were saying just a moment ago that the mid-gray is the color. And that's for a suit or a coat?
Well, for a coat.
For a coat
specifically. So if you had the choice, if you had one, and when I specify a city-going suit, a coat. So a coat you want to wear to the city or to the office, Monday through Friday, not a weekend coat. You know, for me, I'd put my money on sort of a medium gray. If you had to have one, a medium gray.
Interesting. Now, the other thing is that you could, for example, with this balmacaan, you could get one pretty much off the rack because the shape isn't a consideration.
Exactly.
But something like this, it's going to have to be really good, made to measure or bespoke.
That is, the balmacaan is almost like a raincoat. Because it has no structure. I mean, we do use some canvas for ours just to get a bit more shape in the front. But a lot of balmacaan coats that are made without any canvas, and they're just like a raincoat or like
with a lining.
Some will call it a Macintosh. It just basically goes over your
That's it. Now, would this be waterproof?
I don't know exactly. I'm not sure. I wouldn't guess. But I mean, it's a typical coating. It's typical coating wool, about 650 grams. I'm not sure exactly what but the whole idea of coatings are very different from regular jacketings or suitings. And when coatings are being woven, now again, I always caveat, I'm not a cloth technician. So those of you in the comment section, please don't hold me to this. But I would imagine, just as a matter of logic, that coats should have more waterproof or water repellent properties.
Right.
Because the whole point of a coat is to keep you insulated and to keep you from the elements, right? So you would think that during the weaving process for the cloth, because there are cloths that are specified as coatings.
That's right, yes.
So you can't just sort of take a jacketing and use it to make a coat. You technically could, right? Or you practically could. But there are specific cloths that are sort of titled and called coatings. So I would imagine that when those are being woven at the mill, that there's special consideration made to weatherproof the fabric.
And
so to answer your question, is it waterproof? I'm not sure, but it's a coating, and most coatings are woven or designed to be weatherproof.
And this one is almost certainly
that's most certainly waterproof. Most certainly. Most certainly.
And the thing, of course, is that if it's good thick wool like a duffel, it will be pretty well water resistant. And they maybe put some special, as you said, some special treatment on it. And of course, that's why if you used this for a jacket, which it would make a great jacket, you'd probably find it was pretty hot.
You technically could. It's a bit thick, but you technically could use a coating for a jacket. But I wouldn't use a jacketing for a coat.
No. Well, there'd be no point, because your jacketing is probably, what, 375, maybe 450. And that's hardly enough for a coat in the winter. So dress coat, city, country, or city if you're feeling a little bit radical, because it's not the standard gray. And you could, I suppose, get this done in a gray herringbone.
Correct. Herringbone is another fabric, another favorite of mine. So Barleycorn, this was sort of just for me, prior to this, I had just one overcoat, and it was in a gray, medium gray herringbone. Which is sort of one of the leftovers or holdovers from my Italian days.
Right, PROFF's Italian period.
Italian period. It was made by my Italian tailor. And I remember that was in a medium gray herringbone. So I would say yes, either this Barleycorn, which is a bit rarer to find, but you're looking for the hanger.
It's okay.
Which is a bit rarer, but for something a bit more common would be a medium gray herringbone.
And you could, or you could have a sort of, I suppose, a charcoal maybe as well.
Charcoal will
as
be.
you said, the medium shows the
It
shape,
just shows
doesn't
the
it?
shape.
Yeah,
It just shows the shape. It shows the details a little bit more.
Well, it's the same with suits, by the way.
Of course.
Navy suits, it's hard to
It's
see
hard to
all the
make
details.
anything out of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now here is this one, and again, a dress coat, a little bit different because it's, now this is herringbone, light brown herringbone, very heavy, about as heavy as the guard's
No,
coat.
not quite.
Not quite?
But somewhere in between.
Yeah, it's a lot heavier than the Barleycorn, that's for sure. Now, this is a very wide, very striking herringbone.
Because the herringbones used for coatings need to be really wider.
Oh, okay.
So when you see a herringbone that is very spaced out like this, it's definitely a coating, right? You know, the herringbone for jacketings and suitings are typically narrower. So when you see a really broad, or just anything for that matter, if you look at that houndstooth, for instance, the patterns are generally larger. So whenever you see patterns that are very large, be they checks, houndstooth, or herringbones, anything that is just generally larger is designed, in fact, to be a coating and not a jacketing. Now, the difference here is that this is done with a patch pocket.
Right.
So this has been done with a patch pocket, which sort of is significantly more casual.
Of course.
Than its counterpart in gray. And then the taupe.
Yeah, the taupe is the regular pocket.
Correct.
There. No, this
besides
does look
that,
casual, yes.
Besides that, it's pretty much the same principles. It's a double-breasted, same proportions, you know, everything. We've sort of made everything same proportion. The only difference here is that this is something you could wear casually on the weekends.
You probably could, yeah. Although,
if you're looking for, because the thing with the raglan coat is that it's not suitable for the depth of winter. It's a bit lighter, you know, it has no structure. So it's more of a spring coat. If you understand what I mean. It's more of a sort of, you know, early spring coat. Something like this is a bit more, it's double-breasted, so it overlaps, it provides a little bit more insulation.
And then we have the same principle at the back here.
The same principle at the back.
Yes, okay. And of course you could, as we said, you could get one with a belt all the way around it. And that's a possibility. And then you've got this...
Well, not with the dress coats. I wouldn't get one with belt all around it.
Oh, really?
You know, once it's a structured dress coat, the belting is usually sort of done in the back or not.
Interesting.
Or not at all.
Or not at all.
Correct.
Okay. So it has to be really well fitted then.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't start to look floppy. And we've got this nice back drape. And of course, Prof, sorry, I didn't mention it with the others, but the characteristic, very high armhole.
Of course.
So you're going to need, and this of course is a shameless plug, but you're going to need an AskOkey jacket under your suit under your AskOkey coat, because you can't go around in one of those very low armholes.
You can lift it up, just turn it to the side.
Yeah, there we go. And you see you've got all this space here. So it won't cramp you because it'll just fit nicely over your suit jacket or your sports coat or whatever it is. Curious, Prof, because with this, I sort of wondered when I first saw it, is this pattern really right for a dress coat?
But it is actually a herringbone, like I said. This is a classic coating. So a herringbone, a widely spaced herringbone like this, is a classic for a coating.
Yeah.
So if let's say someone walks in and like, I just need a coat, an everything coat. I need one coat to do I need everything. For me, it would be a medium gray herringbone.
Yeah, and it could, I guess, it could have the patch pockets. They don't really make it look that casual, do they?
Well, I mean, they sort of, but
here.
I mean, if it's a dress coat, right?
Yes.
Then I prefer to have flat pockets.
Right, okay.
You know, but if it's an everything coat, then of course this is more useful because obviously it holds things. It's more functional than.
Now you'll notice that Prof likes his dress coats double-breasted. Is there a reason? Is it just that they look better?
I think double-breasted coats just look better. You know, single-breasted coats to me look odd. The only single-breasted coats that I think sort of look decent are maybe like a Chesterfield. You know what those
Right.
And they're sort of short. They almost look like car coats. Slightly below the knee, and they've got sort of these sort of threads at the bottom. It's a very, very specific type of coat.
Okay.
And these are sort of, I mean, they're not even really winter coats. They're kind of like spring coats.
Right, okay.
Because they're not really, and they're cut a bit closer to the body. They're a bit more tailored. Right? So, you know, Chesterfields.
Interesting, okay. And is that the kind of coat that sometimes has a velvet collar?
Correct. Sometimes it might have a velvet collar, and it would have three rows of stitchings at the sleeves and at the hem.
Really?
Correct.
Interesting.
Usually done in sort of like a light brown.
Ah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen
It's called a covert coat.
A covert coat.
Right.
Yes,
it's
yes,
not
yes.
A Chesterfield. It's called a covert coat or covert coat.
Yeah, and that's sometimes made in covered cloth.
Covered cloth, yes.
It's sort of like the thorn-proof.
Exactly. It's again, it's not a middle of the winter coat. It's just sort of, it's a tailored look.
Well, I think the reason it's shorter is because it's for hunting or hounding. You know, going with hounds or
perhaps
something like that.
Perhaps I'm not sure exactly. Yeah. But it's usually shorter, just slightly shorter than a car coat, and you know, it's worn.
Okay, and we had an inquiry a little while ago for something called a Crombie, and the Crombie actually was the maker, but they made a covered coat, and people call it a Crombie coat because it's like they call a raincoat a Macintosh. You know?
So that's the only, to answer your initial question, that's the only coat I could see myself doing as a single-breasted coat.
Okay.
Single-breasted dress coats just don't look right to me.
Yeah, and then
you know, and then they don't. You know, the whole function of a purpose of a coat is to provide warmth.
Yes.
So a double-breasted coat just sort of has a double layer.
Yes.
You can put a scarf in there, and it just sort of gives you so much more insulation.
No, it does that. What about at nighttime in the evening? Is the gray coat still appropriate?
Oh, absolutely, because gray kind of, you know, you can wear it into the evening.
Right. Okay. So you wouldn't think maybe a dark blue.
I mean, if you had the luxury of choice, you could have any color you want.
Of course, yes.
But I would say sort of if you had sort of a medium gray as your first one, and then you wanted one more dress code, it could be sort of like a midnight blue.
Right.
You know, something you could, God forbid, please stay away from black coats. It screams men's warehouse.
Yes.
Please, no black coats. Just a good midnight blue coat can be very, very tasteful and done very elegantly. And then when you're done with the midnight blue, the third could be something like a camel color.
Right.
Not to be mistaken for camel hair or a polo coat. Just a camel color. It tends to also, especially when it starts to warm up in the spring, it tends to go well with like your navy suits and your, you know, the contrast is really nice.
It is a nice contrast.
So the three colors I would say for, you know, if you're sort of a city suit wearing type, I would say medium gray to start with, a medium gray herringbone, then a midnight blue in just sort of a plain wool, because blue hides the texture anyway.
It does.
You can't see it. So it could be, it's just sort of a plain, dressy midnight blue. And then the third one could be sort of, you know, what you would call a camel color.
Light brown color.
Light brown color. Not to be mistaken with camel hair. It's just, it could be wool done in a camel color.
Sure.
If you understand what I mean.
I do. Now, I thought we'd leave this piece de resistance, as
the best for the last.
The best for the last, because this is the classic.
I might have to stand for this one.
You may have to stand for this one, yeah. Now, this is the classic camel hair polo coat. So somewhere in the Himalayas, a camel is walking around without very much hair because it was used to make this very, very smart coat. Now,
Have you seen that photo of Noel Coward?
Yeah. I was thinking of that. That's a polo coat.
I got a lot of inspiration from that
no, I
when
can
we were
imagine,
designing
yes.
this. Sort of the way the collar just sort of stands and kind
Yep.
of falls.
So
Now, I don't like it when it sits that way.
Right,
I think it
right.
just looks, this is the way it should be worn, just sort of with the
Yeah,
collar
yeah,
popped
yeah,
up in
yeah.
front, and then in front, just the front just like that.
Now, this is in fact a casual
Coat.
although it looks at first glance rather like the dress coat. It's a double-breasted with this, but the buttons are straight down as opposed to
The diamond
the
shape.
diamond shape. And you see it there, you see, so they're going straight down. Has the patch pockets.
And you know why?
Why is that?
Because this can be buttoned, the top
Right,
button.
yeah, there you go.
The other ones you can't.
That's right,
you can't
yeah.
do that. But here with the polo coat, you can button
Yes,
all
yes.
6 buttons.
And it's got a much higher buttoning point
Yes.
than the dress coats have.
Correct.
So it looks a little bit like a dress coat at first glance, but it isn't, as you can see. Patch pockets, quite big
Of course.
patch pockets, and almost peak lapels, but not quite. So it's got some little touches
This is
that make it
called,
different.
this is like what we call an Ulster collar.
Ulster collar, okay.
Right. So
Okay.
it's an Ulster collar which sort of points downwards. You know, points downward. It's
Yes.
It's like a double-breasted. Well, it's kind of a peak lapel,
Yes.
but instead of the peak going up,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
sort of with an Ulster collar, you have the collar pointing down and the lapels pointing down as well.
But to get the real effect, you have to see it when it's kind of hanging open, because then these lapels widen up.
Absolutely.
And
You don't wear this closed, actually.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
wear it. It's just, and again, remember the whole idea behind a polo coat is, you know, sort of the history, at least as far as I understand it. You know, polo players would throw it on when they had to come off for a few moments, you know, while they were waiting to sort of be substituted.
between the chuckers.
So
yeah.
it's just something casual to just throw on. And so you don't need a belt. You don't need to button it up. It's just something to throw over to keep you warm till you have to get back,
Yeah.
you know, on the horse.
And you can really see here, Prof, the stitching. I don't know if we can get a close-up of this, but this fabric, you can see where
see the
all
hand
this-
padding.
all the hand padding is,
Yeah.
which you don't normally get a chance to see. So, nerds,
If you can
out
see,
there, fellow nerds-
if you can get a close up, you can actually see the hand padding,
Oh yeah, you
the
can.
hand stitches
All the way down, by the way, right down to here.
on either side.
Yeah.
You can see
So
it
it
on-
doesn't have a stiff lapel. In that there isn't a roll really. It's like one piece. Unlike, for example, a jacket which has a roll.
Yeah, but it does have a roll. It does have a canvas, right? So
Oh no,
this is
of
all
course it has a
one piece
canvas,
of
yes.
canvas. So
That's right. Yes.
it's all hand padded, and you can see the hand padding.
And the canvas would start just like it does in a jacket, right up here.
All the
go
way
all
down.
the way down there. Does it go all the way down to the bottom?
Well, maybe not to the bottom, but probably right up to
Right
sort
about
of
down
right
here.
around there.
So it will have a shape. It's not completely unstructured, but it is casual, and it's got a little bit of padding in the shoulders. Obviously, the
You can do
sleeve
it.
is-
I mean, it depends on sort of some prefer no padding in the shoulder. Because again, it's a casual coat,
That's
right?
right,
So you
yes.
can be one. For instance, the one Noel Coward had, you know, it was a raglan sleeve actually.
That's right. It was.
I
Yes.
thought that was quite
In
interesting.
fact, I remember being surprised when I first saw this and wondering why you hadn't done it with a raglan sleeve.
Yeah.
like
Well,
that.
it depends. You know, some polo. I mean, again, it all comes down to what you. I wanted something with a bit more of kind of a structured look.
Okay.
You know, the other one, sort of the raglan sleeve, it would have looked just like a balmacaan.
Yeah.
So I wanted something slightly different, something
Yeah,
distinctively different from the balmacaan.
And this also a very pronounced stitching along
Edge,
the
we
seam,
call
the
this
edge, the edge
edge
stitching.
stitching.
Very pronounced edge stitching.
Yeah,
But
but
it's the-
Italians call it doppio in puntura.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Everybody
So
take
which
note
is
of that.
double stitching. So
Double stitch.
A double stitch edge. They
Doppio,
call it
yes.
doppio in puntura.
So, but it's the same length as the other coats, pretty
Correct.
much, I would think. So it will really have that nice look to it. It hangs down, and if you go on the social media, AskOkey's Instagram, I think you can see pictures of Prof wearing it with one of his fedoras, looking very smart indeed. So in spite of the fact that it is a casual coat, it actually does look very, very smart. Now, the beauty of this, of course,
actually,
is
you know, Pete, this is one coat. The polo coat is one coat you could actually wear at night with a dinner.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, which I find to be quite interesting. Because it's technically a casual coat, but then it is worn at night.
Yeah.
You know, with your dinner clothes. You know,
it actually looks very well with your dinner clothes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because of the contrasting colors and everything.
Exactly.
Okay, so possibly, although Prof recommends if you're going to own one bespoke coat, make it mid-gray. On the other hand, there is a case to be made for the polo coat as a sort of all-purpose,
very versatile,
coat, very extremely versatile. So, sorry, you were saying if you're commuting on the subway, as they call it, you could wear this.
Over a suit.
Over a suit, you could. But the beauty of this is this amazing fabric. Now, if you've seen a film called The Outfit, I can't remember the names of the guys in it, but if you've seen a film called The Outfit about an English tailor who moves to Chicago, there's a coat in the film made of the same fabric as this one. It's Harrison's camel hair, and it's something of not a grail of fabrics, but it's certainly a fantastic piece.
And nobody does this camel hair better than Harrison's.
No, they're unique for that.
They are very unique for that. Of course, this is by Harrison's, but you know, I mean, go out there and ask. I mean, nobody does camel like Harrison's.
Now, can you have a polo coat in another color? Could you have it light gray?
Yeah, you could have it in any color, in light gray. Now, again, the polo coat is the design.
Right. Okay.
But, you know, traditionally, a polo coat has been done in camel hair, period.
Yeah.
And this is natural camel hair. You can have camel hair in other colors.
Okay.
Dyed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Could be dyed navy, it could be dyed blue. Usually some dyed blue because they want a navy coat. Right. But this is a natural undyed camel hair.
Yeah.
Right? This is what it looks like when it's natural and undyed.
And
a traditional polo coat is done in natural undyed camel hair.
Now, you'd be looking at a coat like this. If you were 25, you'd be wearing it when you were 65 without any difficulty at all.
Easily. 75 or even 85 if God blesses you with longevity.
So it's also a real it'll last much longer than a suit will, for example. And because it's built the way it is, if you put on or lose a bit of weight, it'll still fit you fine. That's all we've got time for, Prof. Thanks very much. We could have talked a lot longer about this,
session,
but yes, it is.
If I do say so myself.
There we are. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody. Pleasure to be with you, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you, Prof.